Now somebody's playing around the same time over on the main stage, that is Lykke Lee, and she's here with me now. Lykke Lee, you're very welcome to the programme. Thanks so much for dropping in.
Thank you.
Let's start at the beginning. First of all, the second album, the Wounded Rhymes album. First of all, congratulations, and congratulations on its success, which is deserved, by the way, and I love it very much indeed. Tell me about the making of it, first of all, in terms of who you got as the producer. You got one of the Bjorn people, didn't you? You got Bjorn himself, was that who it was?
Bjorn himself.
And did you specifically want him because you knew of work he had done in the past?
He did my first album, and also so he's the guy that I've been working with ever since I was young, and so it was just a natural continuement to what we started. And
what about the Youth Novels album then, the first one? I mean, just in terms of the difference from the first to the second, would you say the second is a bit, and I think it might be a bit darker?
I mean, I think it's just, thank God it's changing always, because life is changing. And I think I've always been a rather dark person. I just think that on the first album I was very young and had a lot of baby fat and didn't really, I didn't know how exactly to sing. So I think it came across lighter than it was supposed to have been.
And when you were growing up, the music you'd listen to, I know that your dad played guitar, and you supposedly have said a few times that you listened to Michael Jackson. Was it just the normal stuff that was on the radio as a little kid first?
Yeah, at first when I was about 5, 6, 7, that was Michael Jackson. But then I grew, I listened to, Velvet Underground, Nina Simone, Dr. John, D'Angelo, that kind of things.
But if you mention those people in terms of, say, an influence, I get the impression from some things you've said before that if your real influences were to be written out, they'd be authors. They'd be people who write literature.
Yeah, that's because I'm obsessed with lyrics. I think lyrically, that's what I look for. But musically, I think it's very hard to define what inspired you, because there's so much that you listen to, so you don't know what's has gotten under your skin. I think the only thing that I strive for is to make something honest. I honestly don't know who has had the most influence on me. I think it's just my life.
And when you make the album with Bjorn and you know what he's going to do you have much input? And you're going to say you have loads in terms of the actual sound, the production. Like, for instance, I'd see certain stuff on the album as being almost having a Phil Spector-y, almost a Motown-y kind of feel to it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't work like that. It's not like he makes something. We're together all the time. So I think I have a lot of, I listened to a lot of girl group music in Motown, and then I was listening to Alan Lomax at the time. So I brought in all those early field recordings, and I told him this is how I wanted to sound. So I mean, I'm very much involved in the whole sound process and everything. So it's more about me and him. He kind of does what I can, but we do everything together. And the videos as well, very much your hand in there. Yeah, it is, and especially, I have a very personal relationship to the directors. Right. So yeah, it's a very personal affair. That's twice you've used the word personal in that sentence, so I'm going to ask you now, make it 3 times that it's this. If you have personal lyrics in your song, they really do seem to be very, I feel like I would know Lykke Lee from listening to the 2 albums. The point being that, do you find it easier to get across who you might be in song than you might, say, in a one-to-one situation? Yeah, I do, actually. I find real life situations to be rather complicated, actually. So would that be in some ways the same as any artist that you might have read, or any literature person that you might say is great, because you say, okay, this person really speaks to me, I know what they are, and if you ever met these people you'd say, I don't really know if they're saying much? I think in every great art it's a revealing process. You have to reveal something about yourself that could be dark and that you wouldn't say to everybody. So I like that part of writing, write what you know and write what you must. So I do believe that I've gotten to know people through their music and their films or books. Absolutely. Is there a lighter side to Lykke Lee that I don't know about, having listened to the albums? Yes, of course, because that's just one part of, and that's what I give out artistically, and then there's another side of me as a person that I like. My friends, they know a complete opposite side of me, actually. And might I get that in album number 5, 6 and 7 maybe? No, I don't believe. I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. Okay, there are sounds that you get on the album. I get the impression that, if something is wrong or if you're not necessarily sure about something, there's no harm in bringing out the Hammond organ again. You're a bit of a fan of the Hammond, are you? Yeah, I couldn't help myself. I just thought everything just sounded, we were playing around in the studio and then we tried, let's do guitar on this one, and then I'm like, no, let's try the organ, and then it just sounded fantastic. So I feel, you can't go wrong.
You know, when I mentioned like writers and stuff, and everybody from Didion and Wolf and Simone as a singer, would you read biographies of these people?
Yeah,
would you
definitely.
So in other words, to learn more about someone like Nina Simone, who you like, you would read a biography of her?
Yeah, but it's also, I think you do that because you always feel so confused about your own life and your own path. So I think reading biographies is just a good thing to reassure you that you're not crazy, Other people have been there, and every road is different. So I think it's just a very assuring thing to do. Reassuring thing, yeah.
Okay, now you're an awful lot younger than me, but having said that, if you look back at certain things the way music is, you've mentioned Velvet Underground and that as well, but there was a certain lifestyle espoused by people who lived, say, in the canyons in the 70s in LA kind of thing, and you've got your Neil Young, you've got your Joni Mitchell, you've got every other damn thing as well, and it was all one big brilliant package of, you live in Sweden, I live in Ireland, I wouldn't mind going there.
No, but it's not really like that in Sweden, I think, because the canyons, it's much warmer, and you can kind of let you can go around in a shirt and just walk, but it's fucking cold in Sweden, so it's not really that kind of environment. But we've started a new movement just recently called Ingrid, so it's me, Peter Ben and John, Mike Snow, and a bunch of other people. So we're trying to build that community in Sweden as well.
What's Solarium?
Well, that's it's my Area 51.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Confidential.
It's not to be explained.
No, because you can't explain what I went through and what I was trying to do. It was just a pure experiment.
And was it good?
Yeah, it was a good experience for me, for sure.
Okay. Album number 2 has put you up like so much higher and whatever. But just tell me, like, have you got stuff together for album 3? Have you got more Wounded Rhymes? Wounded Rhymes 2?
I mean, I believe it's a process, and you create this world that you have to escape into and live through. And I'm still touring it, so I'm still in that zone, and I really want to kind of die and then rise again after this tour. So no, I'm not working on a 3rd record, no. Okay,
but when you finish here at the Electric Picnic, which you do tonight, you go back home to Sweden, and then it's straight off to the United States of America again.
Yeah, and then also we're touring Australia, and then back to Europe, and then back to America again. So I'll be busy until December.
So if there is anything new at all, I get the impression we won't get a 3rd album until 2013.
Probably not, no.
Probably not. And will you do it back up in Sweden? Will you record it in Sweden, do you think?
I don't know. I don't even know who I'll be in 5 months.
That makes the same story for all of us.
Yeah.
Okay, well listen, thank you very much indeed for talking to us. This is Lykke Lee. You're on stage, let's get it again, between Arcade Fire and James Blake. That's at 8:15 on the main stage. And that's later. By the way, on stage with you, what's the lineup in terms of musicians?
Oh, I got great musicians, handsome, flexible, all those things. It's a dark, twisted fantasy.
And do you have a Hammond organ?
Yeah, we do, of course.
Good, of course.
And
okay.
2 drummers, of course.
And 2 drummers. Okay. Well, yeah. I'm going to play music from you in a minute or two, but I'm not going to play it right now, which is from the Wounded Rhymes album. But Lykke Lee, thanks a million for dropping in.
Thank you.
It's a real pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to play this track here, first of all, which is something entirely different. It's from a band from LA direction called Girls.